Ing tutuking programa, mituringan niyang rated PG. Kailangan ing patnube at gabeding pengari para karing kayanakan amanalbe.
Bayo Payaldo Kabalen, abayan nyo kaming makikonek at magpagkwentuhan karing kikatamong bisitang pandangal. Nanuman ing kekong gagawan, taran at manalbe at suryang ing kekatang pisabian. Ako po Ibeni Ginto at ini ing Gnnkonek. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest for today's episode is a German, Mr. HOLGER HOIST, a German waste management engineer and co-founder and technical director of Metro Clark Waste Management Corporation. Morning, sir.
Magandang umaga. Also to you.
Magandang umaga.
To you.
Magandang umaga sa ating mga nanonood. No? At magandang umaga rin sa ating mga bosses. Okay. Sir, would you like to say something about our topic for today?
Yeah, thank you for having me here. I think it's important that we bring our position on waste management and the actual situation to the public, which I think most of your viewers are also our clients in that, and we want to make sure that our clients will be served for the next coming years also.
Yeah. As a technical director, what is really the job of a technical director to a waste management like Metro Clark?
As a founder of Metro Clark, what we bring in is 40 years of knowledge in waste management. That's the advantage we have in Germany. We started very early, and you don't need a German engineer to build a road in the Philippines. You have a Philippine engineer who can do that.
Okay.
But we have the knowledge, and that is what we bring into this business.
Before we go deeper to our discussions, para po ka rin kabaluan na rin kay katamong Talapanalbe Ketiking Pampanga, in Clark Waste Management Corporation is the first engineered sanitary landfill in the region. For the awareness and knowledge of our viewers, what do you mean when you say engineered?
Engineered, you know, in the country you have a lot of, the name landfill says already just to fill up land. That's the old style. You have a hole, you fill it up with garbage, it's gone. As an engineered sanitary landfill has, first of all, even in the law, a minimum requirements that have to be there to mitigate possible environmental impacts, which mostly is in the first place water, to protect the groundwater. You have to have measurements to protect the groundwater, which is a lining system, a leach collection system for the rainwater, which is contaminated by the garbage. You have to treat it. You have to have from weighbridge, you have to have fencing. You have to make sure that no rodents coming out of it or going in there, so that's no health risk for the surrounding environment.
So, sir, you mean Metro Clark or Kalangitan landfill is an environmental friendly?
It's very environmental friendly in terms of waste management. A landfill is the basic for any waste management system. You always need a landfill. There are always residues, and these residues have to be disposed finally for a long time. So you have to make sure that no environmental impact can come out of this disposal. And that's the reason why it's today nearly a high-tech facility.
Yes. Could you provide us a short overview of the development evolution of the Kalangitan sanitary landfill over the last 25 years?
Yeah, we started very humble with just in 2002. We constructed around 3 hectares, and our first load was around 80 to 100 tons. Initially, CDC wanted a landfill for the locators of CDC alone, and we made an alternative proposal because it's economically not feasible. You need centralization in waste management, and so we proposed, because CDC has the property, we proposed a centralized landfill inside the Clark Special Economic Zone, which can serve the whole region.
Yeah. How many hectares? Does
So therefore,
Metro plan?
we negotiated with CDC and finally we leased 100 hectare.
100 hectares.
100 hectare, whereas 70 hectare is a landfill pit. We have a lot of auxiliary facilities which are needed, like the leachate plant, like gas connection, which also need a lot of space. And you have an environmental buffer zone around it to make sure, again, that no mitigation, as a mitigation measure against emissions and anything.
Can you tell us the most significant milestones and achievement of the landfill since the inception?
The first milestone was that we got a permit at all, because we were the first landfill who did that. It was a long discussion with DNR, also to get the commitment from the Sangguniang Bayan of Kapas, from the Sangguniang Paralawigan, from Tarlac province. We had to show the first 2 years we were only allowed to accept waste from CDC and from Tarlac. We had to show that we do what we promised. And after 2 years, both Kapas and the Tarlac province, as they saw that we do what we promised, they allowed us to accept waste from the whole of the Philippines. That was, I think, one major milestone.
Your clients here is the whole Central Luzon, or?
I would say, I mentioned always, it's a greater Central Luzon, because we go over Central Luzon. We go up to Pangasinan, Nueva Ecija. We have clients partially from Cavite, we have clients in Batangas, industrial clients, and we're serving 15 million people more or less in this region.
How about hospitals?
We are, to my knowledge, the only facility who has the permit to accept treated hazardous waste. In the law in 9003, RA 9003, you have to have a special cell for this.
Yes.
The leachate collection, the water, the Gnnkonek has to be collected separately from the other landfill. We have that, and again, we are, to my knowledge, the only one who have this permit in the Philippines.
We understand that the hospital wastes are toxic.
No.
No?
Number one, this waste is, again, I said, treated waste.
Yes.
The hospital gives the waste to a facility, which are also located beside us, actually, most of them. They treat it thermisch or what in conclave, autoclave systems. And when it's treated, it's actually neutral already. Then this neutral residues, they are disposed in our special facility.
Oh, I see. So there's no need for alarm.
There's no need for alarm.
Yeah.
Number one, there's nearly no toxic waste.
I see.
There's some
good.
hazardous waste, but no toxic. And again, our facility is only treated hazardous waste. So there is actually no more direct threat from this waste anymore going out to the environment.
All right. Can you discuss the measures in place to ensure landfill operations are environmental sustainable?
As I said before, number one is you need a proper lining. We, in the RA 9003, we are category 4 sanitary landfill. That means we receive more than 200 tons a day. And there are additional rules against smaller landfills which might be operated by municipalities. We have to have a double lining system. It has to be a plastic liner and a clay liner, which is typical European standard, or even American. It's international standard. You have to have a leachate collection system. That means you just see it there. You have to collect all the incoming rainwater which is contaminated by the waste. You have to collect it and you have to treat it. And when you release it, it has to have specific quality which is partially better than in the river or in the creek where you discharge the water.
Yeah. I saw a little lake.
Yeah, first, it says finally you have to treat physical, biological, and chemical if necessary. So the little lake is that you have settlements. You have some sludge going down. That's the initial where you collect the water. From there, you pump it to your treatment plant, where it's really biological, in our case, biological treated. And from there, you go in a beautification plant, where we have on site, we have a laboratory. We control our leachate permanently. And then you discharge, and you have to make sure that the discharge is clean.
How about your relationships with the community of Kapas?
I think we have a very good relationship with Kappas. We developed it over the last 20 years, and they trust us. Like our clients, again, in the very beginning, the biggest problem was trust. Do they really do what they promised? And our clients know we implemented over the last 20 years everything what we promised. And therefore, we have no complaints.
I see. Okay, in your opinion, what is the edge of Metro Clark, no, to other landfill?
When I came to the Philippines and developed Metro Clark Waste Management, I saw my colleagues on the left and right side in the areas would keep up with us. Unfortunately, that never really happened. Only recently some developments are there. In the beginning, it was very difficult. Even the municipalities, they were used to not paying money. They pay for power, they pay for water, but why should we pay for waste management? We can throw it behind the fence. So it was a long. Nowadays, the LGUs are totally different. They know it's needed, and they pay their fees. And in this regard, that's the major change in that. No?
Okay, kare pong kay katamo viewers at kabalen, manalbe kayo po king Gnnkonek at pisabihan tayo po ing Metro Clark o ing Kalangitan landfill ne. Itang piyog siya ng basura, yung pinagtatapunan natin ng basura. Iyan po ang pinag-uusapan natin. Kung gusto ninyong makipag-interact sa aming pinag-uusapan, pwede po kayong mag-comment o sa ilalim ng inyong sa comment section ng inyong FB, no? Pwede rin kayong mag-text sa aming number 910-917-620-4188 para po sa inyong gustong sabihin sa ating bisita ngayong umaga. Maraming salamat po.
Panandamaning El Nino. Kung toro papali o mitatasing temperatura, daragul mo naman ing pamangailangan king kuryente. King daragula demand king kuryente asang kaning paning pamangamit kareng appliances kalupaning aircon, freezer at refrigerator. Asahan tamo naman na siguradong tuki ing kimot ning presyo ning kuryente amani batan king wholesale electricity spot market. Inya naman papaganakan ing Svelapco kareng hanggang consumers ing paniguradong pamagbayo ning konsumo at presyo ning kuryente balang kilowatt hour. Manatiling makayantabe king kaya kaming Facebook page para kareng latest advisory. Beto nga paganaka, ibat king Svelapco.
At ito naman po ang isa pang katanungan. One more question. How do you operate, how do your operational standards and practices compare to global practices in waste management?
We operating in international standards.
Okay.
There's a reason our facility now is ISO certified on operations on environment and operational health and safety. We are in this regard the only facility in Asia who has this ISO standards. So we are operating on a very high standard.
Recently, they opened a new waste facility, or they called Automated Materials Recovery Facility in Porac Town, what they call Prime Integrated Waste Solutions Incorporated. Prime Integrated Waste Solutions have said they are investing 1 billion pesos into their facility and will have the capacity to handle the region waste. What do you have to say about this?
1 billion pesos is a lot of money for the Philippines in terms of waste recycling plants. It's not very much actually because the machinery is very expensive. a waste segregation plant is a small part of the whole possible systems in waste management. The landfill is always a basis for waste management. You always, doesn't matter what you do, you need a landfill because there will always be residues. A waste segregation plant is a step in between the client, the customer, then you segregate the waste, you get specific material streams. But then behind that has to come something what is using this recycling materials. Now the main point is there something behind this recycling plant or segregation plant who can use the materials? Right now, to my knowledge, I hear there's a plan of waste to fuel. This is not existing. A waste to fuel plant is a total different number in investment, much more. You have to know exactly what you get, and this is not existing. So the material which is generated in the segregation plant right now, there's no use for that. What do you do with that? You have to store it. If you store it in bales, or you store it on the landfill, that's more or less the same. Just pre-segregated, but that is. And also this plant has residuals. And out of the numbers we were public last Saturday, I think, they have, let's say, 1,000 tons operation, 400 tons of organic, 200 tons of residuals, all baled. Now, that's 60% of the incoming 1,000. What do you do with it? There is right now nothing behind it.
The other facilities, they said, they are already operational and they are ready to accept 1,000 tons of garbage. What can you say?
Number one is who is remotely promoting these numbers. It's BCDA. I think BCDA is not the government agency who is able to determine how much such facilities really can operate. They are based on numbers which are based on permits, which are not true. Actually, to go in detail, the Porac landfill has a permit of 2,500 tons per day. The Florida Blanca landfill has a permit of 1,000 tons a day. And if you look at the segregation plant, I think that's something about 1 million tons, more or less, a year, which is in an average 2,700 tons per day, which on paper is around 6,000 tons. Now you have to look from paper to reality. As a sample, our ECC says 5,000 to 6,000 tons. When we started, we were able to handle 500 tons. Number one, Porac. Porac is, out of the papers, a category 4 sanitary landfill. If you look at reality, it's a site within a lahar stream, within a riverbed, which is already a no-no for landfill construction in the first place. It has, from all minimum requirements, nearly fulfills any of them. Really, you have to look at it. What is reality right now? Florida Blanca, on the other hand, the Porac landfill, right now it's around 5-6 hectares. There's a limit on volume, what they can take. There's no way to construct right now because we have rainy season. And also, main part for the landfill is access. They are in the middle of the lahar field. It's rainy season. It's very, very difficult to go there. And when you took 1,000 tons, that in the end of the day it's 110-wheeler trucks or 150, it's very difficult to have access. This is Porac. Now, number two is Florida Blanca. Florida Blanca is a completely different setup. That are colleagues, I think from Malaysia, which set up a sanitary landfill according to the requirements of R0993. Their problem there is, right now, they only have developed 2-hectare area, pit, where you can dispose the waste. This is a maximum volume of about 150,000 tons. If they receive 1,000, 1,500 tons a day, it's filled in 2.5 months. So this is not a solution for right now.
Okay, some of these other facilities, they say, are using new technology and that will, they're more efficient with waste management. On this view, the other facilities as a threat to Metro Plan?
Definitely not. You have to look on the bigger picture. In the next 10 to 15 years, this region will generate 100 million tons of waste accumulated. Right now, the capacity is less than 30 million tons, whereas Kalangitan is half of this. Kalangitan has 15 million tons. So it's not just this two little facilities and a segregation plant, which is part of the whole system, we need for the next 10 years still 70 million tons capacity, which has to be generated up to now. So there is no threat. It's a need in the Philippines for more facilities for waste management. But right now, Kalangitan is the major milestone. And I think it's irresponsible to close Kalangitan, which again, in our terms, we are pretty sure legally we will be there for the next 25 years.
I see. At this time, how many tons of garbage being collected a day in Kalangitan?
In Kalangitan a day we have, because you don't operate, up to 5,000 tons a day. In an average we have 3,000 tons a day over the year. But you have to have the operational capacity to cover holidays or whatever.
How
So
about Porac and Florida?
there's no way that they can accept this amount of money, of waste. And even the Porac facility, we saw the inauguration. They inaugurated a hopper sieve and a baling press. This is not a segregation plant. They might be operational to October, might be. In my opinion, they are not operational for maybe 1,000 tons, maybe yes or no, but they still have to learn how to operate. The point is, again, we think, and we are pretty sure we will continue operation. But worst case scenario, what happens in October? If we close, there will be a waste crisis, and it's not avoidable by these facilities right now.
In your opinion, sir, is Kalangitan, we know that Kalangitan is a friendly, environmental friendly. How about Florida and Porac?
Again, what I told you, Florida Blanca is planned for according to the law, and they have a proper leachate treatment plant, and I think Florida Blanca is perfect. It's very small, so it's very limited capacity. Porac is a different thing. Again, it's in the middle of the Lahar stream. There's no proper leachate treatment. There are no infrastructure. Everything what is needed for a proper Category 4 landfill is missing in Porac.
Now, let's go to the main problem of the case. No, if in case BCDA and CDC close your Metro Clark and Kalangitan landfill, what will happen?
Number one, BCDA and CDC are not able to close us. It's in the moment, it's in the court. It's the court decides if we get closed or not. That's one thing. What will happen if we close? Again, what I said, this municipality, these facilities are not able to cover the daily waste stream from the whole region. So, as a sample, we had COVID. The first 3 days we couldn't serve. Within 1 week, you have a waste crisis, a big one, because again, our clients coming up from Benguet, Baguio, they are our clients. The capacity is not here. The facilities are not prepared. They are too small or not operational yet. In my opinion, with 40 years experience in waste management.
According to them, no, your contract will expire in October. What can you say about that?
Again, we have a contract which has very clear two parts, a service contract and a lease contract. The service contract will expire. The service contract says we have the exclusive right to collect waste within the Clark Special Economic Zone. That is what expired. There is no expiring of the lease agreement. The lease is by law for foreign investors, even for local investors within the free zone, is not longer than 50 years, renewable for 25 years. That's automatic. It's not specialized stated in our contract because it's a law. And again, because we discussed it with CDC for years, they didn't react. They forced us to file legal actions.
I see. So, there's no need for our Cabalens?
No, I don't think so. Again, we are pretty sure that we will serve them further as we did before. And also, we had plans already for the future of what, again, we have this problem, 100 million tons, I told you that. And coming up with a segregation plant in Porak again. 5 years ago, we made already an unsolicited proposal for waste to energy on this site, based on the master plan of BCDA, which explicitly stated it should be a waste to energy or an energy facility in the area. And the segregation plant, we have the similar modern technology, was a part of this system that we proposed 5 years ago. But up to now, we were not allowed to implement a $200 million project, which would help waste management in the area for the future substantially.
Okay. What are the future plans for Kalangitan Sanitary Landfill in terms of expansion, modernization, or new initiative?
There is no expansion. You have a plan for a landfill, and you have to fulfill this plan. You cannot just expand that area. So what the plan is, normally every government tries to extend the lifetime of a landfill so much as possible, because that is one place for disposal of residues, and by implementing segregation at source, recycling facilities, recycling possibilities, in that form you extend the lifetime of the landfill. So that's an advantage. So you don't have to build a new one on another place, because again, you always need a landfill. How fast you can do that? Our plans, again, I told you 5 years ago, we already foreseen what's going on, and we have investors ready to do that, to build a waste to energy plant. But one thing in the Philippines, you need bulletproof technology. We are a private company. We cannot try and error like what we did in Europe. In Europe, we paid a lot of money for our mistakes. In Europe, can afford it. Here, we cannot afford it. You have to implement bulletproof technology. And if it's not used in Europe or in the States, for sure, it's not good for a developing country, because in Europe and the States, they said it's not efficient or not economically feasible.
I'm just, what is bulletproof technology?
Bulletproof technology is technology has proven that it works
Oh, I see.
for a long time. You have, in technical terms, you have state of the art, state of development, that's new technologies which you want to implement. And like, I always hear the thing, new technologies in waste management, pyrolysis, plasma technology, waste to fuel. Sorry, that's not new. We do that in Germany and tried that in Germany 30 years ago. I was involved in the first pyrolysis plant in 1991. So this is, you really have to look behind it, and there's an interesting study from the German Department of Environment recently just on all these new technologies, what is doable, what is not doable, and they come to the same conclusion. Such new technologies are not necessarily sustainable.
How many years are you going to spend in order to establish a facility?
Like a waste to energy facility, if you have a permit, needs around 2 to 3 years to construct. So with the permit process, you can expect 4 to 5 years development time before you have an operational scale facility.
Yeah.
And if you talk about 2,000 or 3,000 tons a day, that scale, it's not this little pilot plant for 100 tons or something.
Okay, I think we have no more time. I'll just give you maybe 1 minute to express your views to our viewers. No?
Yeah, I think we from MCWM, we want to serve our customers. We want to keep our customers not only happy, but that they know that their trash is handled environmental sound. That is what we're doing in Kalangitan, and we will do that for the next 25 years.
I see. With some innovation?
With innovations on the way, for sure. But they are depending on permits and everything, and again, just discussions for our waste to energy plant going on since 5 years.
With bulletproof technology.
Bulletproof technology, very important. You have to understand, the Philippines has the lowest waste fee, more or less, in Southeast Asia. I worked in Central Asia, Southeast Asia. My main job is consultancy, let's say for development banks and anything. And even in other areas, you have $30, $40. We have our basic fee here is 600 pesos per ton. You have to develop everything what you do based on this pricing. That is what the municipalities can afford. You cannot say, oh, we build something, you want $200 for it. You have to look what does your client, what is can afford.
Thank you very much. Ha?
Thank you for having me.
Payutang po mapupuso, mga kawani, pasalamatan ko lading mamantabi king katamong programa. Miss Mitch Birayo of Casa Moda, siyempre. Coffee B for our coffee and breakfast. Dr. Elizabeth Ocampo Anlas of Angelina's Optical, and Sir Andy Ramos for our beautiful backdrop. No? Dakal po salamat king dinakay yung panahon kaniting programa. Pag nasan mi po na dakayanan na kayong kabaluan at informasyon kapamilatan na rin yung kakatamong bisita. Ang gapuken tutuking pamikatagon, mikit-tikit tampo